We know overclock at the moment, but I will talk about that later. 16 gigabytes of DDR4 memory, a GTX 1060 6 gig, a 240 gig SSD, 1 terabyte SEAGATE BARRACUDA, 600 watt EVGA power supply. Most of you have seen the build. If not, it's in the description down below. I'll try and put it in the iCard up here as well. So yeah, it's been 6 months since I built my PC, and I just want to go through. So the first game I tested out was Dirt 3 on the high settings. It's a bit of an older game, but yeah. I put it on the highest settings at 60 FPS, and it's stuck at that. If you take VSync off, yes, it can go to a higher frame rate, but I didn't want it to be laggy or anything, dropping frames in high intensity scenes, if that makes sense. So left it at these settings. As you can see, it plays pretty much flawlessly, and it will do for an older game. The next game I decided to test out was Rocket League. This is at the, I'll call it high settings, it's called quality in the game. It's the one below the highest you can set it at. And this also ran really well with averages of 59.7 FPS, 1% lows of 35.4 FPS, and 0.1% lows of 7.8 FPS. So it ran pretty well. Those dips were mainly in menus or high intensity scenes, but it's mainly wasn't really seen that much and wasn't really noticeable, to be honest, and it shouldn't be in a game like this. The next game I tried out was CSGO. Still very good here. As you can see, it's got really high frame rate. The frame rate was an average of 221 FPS, 1% lows of 101 FPS, and 0.1% lows of 49.5 FPS. So this game, yep, ran pretty well. And yeah, it should do. The next game I decided to try out was the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare Warzone. This is at the medium settings. I capped it to 30 FPS because at 60 it was very unstable, to be honest, fluctuating up and down. So this had an average of 30.2 FPS, 1% lows of 27.5 and 0.1% lows of 7.6. But yeah, for this setup I definitely put it to medium and cap it to 30 FPS, as this is what the Xbox, well, a little bit better than what the Xbox actually runs it. So here's the main one, 3D Mark's Time Spy. As you can see, it runs it pretty decently for this type of system. You can see, yeah, it runs pretty well, and you'll be able to see the score in a second. But as you can see, it is pegged at 100% GPU usage, so it is that GPU that's sort of holding this system back, really, from getting a higher score in this benchmark. As you can see, the benchmark scored 4,646, which is a really decent score for this.